Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Super Bowl Take. I'm Big Red 310 with my two guys here at the moment.
I can't believe you just did that. Nightmareballa1.
Super Bowl Take.
That's awful.
I guess I'm here.
Do you realize that I say a cliche before every show?
That was a bad one.
Over here.
That was a bad one.
Nightmare88, Nightmare26. Thank you very much.
And you spend the whole time
It doesn't matter.
You spend the whole time burying my cliches. Stop burying my cliches. Just enjoy them for what they are. They're a good way to get into the show. All right?
Comment if you think they're awful, people.
We'll see about that.
Subscribe.
But first off, there's a decently big game this weekend. And unfortunately, it's towards the end of the football season, which makes me very sad. Phil's sad. Markeem indifferent. But still, this is...
No. Into everything, man.
Okay. For me, it's personally tough. Even though the draft is going to be fun and free agency is going to be fun, after that is really like the June through August period.
Yeah. The draft kills me every year because apparently I'm an idiot on the internet. But draft time, I get so many ads. Hey, is this guy any good? Yeah, whatever.
Well, you got the EJ Manuel guy wrong, so.
Man, he was all right. He was all right this year. That's it. He was better than I thought.
We'll talk about. I want to talk about that in a second, but first
real quick, Markeem. I know this is on the show. I don't think this really needs much time, but Logan Thomas in the Senior Bowl.
I was about to talk about that. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Logan Thomas, for those who do not know, is the quarterback for Virginia Tech that Markeem has incessantly massacred on this show. The only person that rivaled the Lane Kiffin abuse was Markeem's own quarterback, Logan Thomas. And at the Senior Bowl, everyone was just astonished and amazed at how big Logan Thomas was, with one NFL general manager, not a coach, not a scout, a general manager saying, hey, I can teach the kid to throw. I can't teach the kid to be 6'6", 260 pounds. Some are saying he may even go in as high as the second round. And if something crazy happens, maybe even one. Which I don't expect, but I don't think anybody expected EJ to go in the first round, and he did. So, Markeem, I ask you, what are Logan Thomas's draft prospects?
He's big. I've always said he's big and athletic. He cannot throw. Do you really want a quarterback that cannot throw?
But can it be taught?
No, it does. He's too far. Well, I ain't even going to say he can't throw, because I just think there's a chemical imbalance in that boy's head. When in game situations, he's not very good. He's the best practice player you ever see in your fucking life. The best exhibition player you will ever see. But when the game actually matters and people are trying to tackle him and do things to impede his progress, he is bad. It is that simple.
So you're basically saying he can't be a Tebow.
Exactly. You know how people say Tim Tebow is a gamer. Like forget everything you see him doing practice and all that stuff. When the game is on, he shows up. And, he does. I'll give him that. Like, when it's tight, he does. But Logan Thomas is the opposite.
I can't wait till someone drafts him as their starting quarterback this year.
Markeem, what do you think about him being a tight end? I heard that going around, too.
He'd be great. If he has hands, he could do it. He's huge.
It's an interesting development that we're going to keep tracks on. Me personally, I just really badly want Bill O'Brien to go in there, say fuck Teddy Bridgewater, fuck Johnny Manziel, fuck Blake Bortles, fuck Derek Carr. With the first overall pick, the Houston Texans select Logan Thomas.
I would turn the draft off.
I would too, and I don't even know that much about Logan.
I just can't wait till Logan Thomas gets drafted super early, and like someone asked Markeem, how is this guy? And you just respond, he sucks! In all caps. I just can't wait till the Eagles draft him personally. To replace.
Dog, shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Like in the third round, once they cut Michael Vick, they need a third quarterback.
They don't have to cut him, he's a free agent.
But anyways, we're wasting time. Conference championship game was last week. Or 2 weekends ago, technically. The Patriots got their asses.
Oh yeah, the Pro Bowl was last week, and it actually wasn't that bad of a game.
No. I mean, do you not know how this works? We have a structure.
I was just throwing that out there. It wasn't that bad of a game.
Yeah, the Pro Bowl system's a lot better because, as someone pointed out, when you have a draft, you have a lot of players towards the end of that draft who are very talented who feel disrespected for not being drafted earlier. That's what Derek Johnson said. And Derek Johnson won Defensive MVP for the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, he hit the shit out of his own teammate.
Yeah, he killed Jamal Charles.
Who's coming off a concussion. But I thought what was even crazier, I thought, was the T.J. Ward, Josh Gordon thing, because that could have, he could have blew out his knee.
Yeah.
But he was just like, yep, sorry, dude, on different teams.
I would just like to point out the 2-point conversion was made to win the game by Mike Tolbert, who goes through Coastal.
Oh, God. Okay, conference championship round.
I should also add that one of my little brother's best friend just committed for football to Coastal Carolina University.
Oh, wow. Congratulations, buddy. You're going good.
I just thought you should know that. But yeah, no, the Pro Bowl. Oh, and also another interesting quick note from the Pro Bowl before we move on to the championship games. Someone noted that Ron Rivera was on the opposite coaching staff as Cam Newton, and Ron Rivera had no problem calling blitzes against Cam Newton.
Yeah, I saw that.
And hey, props to him. I'm glad he did. Nice job to respect the game. Because I just think people realize even if you get hurt now, you're getting hurt in fucking January. You'll be recovered in time, and it's more important. And as someone said, it matters a lot. If for those that do not know, just because I follow a lot of beat writers, I know this. That Pro Bowl means a lot to the players, more than you can imagine. It's a huge deal for them to be selected to that game.
They get that payday, the camaraderie of playing against some of the best players in the game, vacation for their family, being recognized on national television. It's a lot of stuff, man.
They love getting picked to the Pro Bowl, so they're gonna. When you give them an environment to want to try, I mean, yeah, no one wants to get hurt, but if you tell the players, hey, look, if you don't try, we're going to take away the game, they'll try. They won't just say, oh, fuck, who cares about being selected to the Pro Bowl? It matters to them. That's the point. But anyways, let's move on to the conference championship game. Patriots, Broncos, Seahawks, Niners. Seahawks, Niners was a great game, a lot of fun. Came down to the end with, obviously, the very famous Richard Sherman tipped interception that we'll talk about later. But first, we'll talk about the Broncos-Patriots with Broncos beat them 26-16. I don't know if I said it on this show or if I said it to a friend. I definitely predicted to a friend that the Broncos would win by 10. I don't think I said. I don't remember if I said that on this show, but they won by exactly 10. Patriots tried, but with all the injuries and with just the lack of talent they have compared to the Broncos, the score, in my opinion, at least, I mean, you guys can argue this if you want. The score, in my opinion, did not really speak to.
Yeah, they got dominated. They got their ass whooped, son.
They did nothing well. I mean, they just, in every phase of the game, the Broncos were better. So that's why I'm saying, the score didn't really represent how the game actually went. But Phil, I'll hand it over to you. Season ended. Happy, sad, thoughts on the game.
Of course I'm not happy. What I mean...
Now, but you did say if they lose, you'd rather them lose now, right?
Oh, well, I will say that. I am glad. If this meant we were going to lose to Seattle, I definitely would have... You always throw me off. Anyways, sorry. But yeah, I definitely thought that would rather have us lost in gosh, I lost my train of thought. Would have rather us lost in this game than the Super Bowl, as much as I would still like to brag that we went to a Super Bowl. But anyways, as far as the game, this is the worst case scenario. The game was just completely all we had to do was put one freaking drive together early on in the game, and we're in the game. Yes, I'll point it out before anyone else points it out. Brady missed Edelman, which I want to point out that I love how people. Yes, I even said Brady. I even tweeted this that oh Brady, you missed that. That was a huge play. But everybody's guaranteed touchdown, guaranteed touchdown. You don't know for sure that's a touchdown.
He trip up.
He's got it. He's got to catch it and he has to finish it out for a touchdown. It's not like it was in the end zone. So I was I don't care. I don't care what people say. Yes, it's most likely a touchdown, but don't book it as a touchdown guaranteed automatically. It's anyways. But anyways, enough about that. I was really surprised. Like I said, it was going to come down to the offensive lines and the running game, and I just was surprised how we just gave up so easily on the running game. So easy. Blunt. I mean, yeah, Belichick does it at times, but Blunt got 3 carries early on, and because he didn't get hardly anything on those, he got a total of 5 for the whole game. And it's really was having a little more success against the Broncos, but I gotta say, props to the Broncos defense. Bottom line, Broncos defense stepped up. I think it was
about fucking time.
I think it was honestly more about them than the Patriots offense. I just think the the Denver Broncos didn't give the Patriots anything. They didn't give them anything. On two major plays in the game, the defensive line of the Broncos got to Brady. Like the one time the offensive line decides to let a sack happen is the worst possible time. So it's like, it is what it is. But it's like, man, we should have got a touchdown early. Now I will say this: I do think Aqib Talib, we would have been a lot closer in the second half. It would have been we would have been within a score with going for the onside kick at the end. But hey, it is. Well, I guess we were down 10. But anyways, I'm saying like it would have been closer with Aqib in the game. But I don't think that changed anything. We can't score on offense. I mean, that's not Aqib Talib keeps us gives us more chances, but it doesn't give us an offensive touchdown. So that's the thing I'll say about Talib.
Hey, thank you for not Skip Bayless in that time. Did y'all hear what he said? Y'all heard what he said?
If the Broncos didn't win without Aqib Talib, it would have been an embarrassment.
Yeah, and Wes Welker with the dirty hit. I'll talk about that. Go ahead, Phil.
And I want to talk about that as well.
Don't you do it. Don't you dare do it.
No, I know what you think.
I will cuss you out tonight. Don't you do it.
Welker meant to do it. I hate you, Welker. I'm just kidding.
Oh, my God.
No, I don't see. Welker looked like he literally ran into him. Like, I don't see, like, if it looked even a little bit, I'd give it to Belichick or I'd give it to whoever says that, but it didn't even look dirty. Like, it looked like he ran.
It's a block. It's a damn block.
Even if it's a block, like, it didn't even look like a block. It looked like you just they ran into each other. Like, I think that Belichick, wow, I just merged their names together. Welker was planning to block him, but I think they just kind of ran into each other. Like, I honestly do think that's what happened. But anyways, Welker did not take Talib out. Bill Belichick, don't get butthurt. Yes, I'm talking to my own head coach, who I love and adore, but don't get butthurt about it because you couldn't sign the guy. Okay, like, come on, like, let's just, obviously that was a little bit of hatred on his side because he knows he made a mistake. Like, just go ahead and say, I wish I signed Welker. I hate you. Like, just go ahead and say that. Because now that you needed him in that game. So, but yeah, I mean, as far as that, I don't care. Peyton Manning, dude, I'm telling you, you can't give him time. We gave him all the time in the world, and you can't do that. You just can't do it. And if you had told me, like, I mean, obviously I'm not saying we're sack king or anything like that, but Chandler Jones, Rob Ninkovich, they're guys that can get sacks. It's just not going to happen. And then I finally think, I hate to fall on the crutch. Because when you get in that situation, you got to deliver. But we just had too many injuries in the end. Just too many things to overcome. When you had the Broncos, who did have a lot of injuries, but still had very key players on offense and their defense, like I said, stepped up. Our defense didn't. Our defense could have stepped up. They stepped up against the Colts. So I mean, it's just one of those things where that day Broncos were clearly the better team, and you kind of knew it at halftime, even though I would never admit it till the game's over. But I will say this about the Broncos: once again. Late in the game, they decide, I don't care. We don't want to play no more. Like, they honestly have that. I honestly look at them, and I see that. Like, I saw it in the San Diego game, and I saw it in this game. Like, fourth quarter, when they have no matter what the lead is, they just like, okay, I don't care. Like, I don't think that was really anything about Brady and the Patriots on offense. I think it was literally the Denver defense decides to sleep in late in games. Like, they've done it for 2 weeks in a row. Well, good luck when you win in the Super Bowl when you do that. So. But anyways, that's enough. I could say a lot about this game because, of course, it's my team, and I'll obey everything. But Markeem, go ahead.
No, I'm going to let Kid go next. I want to hear what he got to say.
Or whatever, yeah, Kid.
I watched this game with my dad and my older brother. They both could not stop laughing, and neither could I, at the Omaha thing. And even made better was when ESPN or NFL or Fox, I think, who was showing the game, they actually had a stat. CBS. They had a stat at halftime that Peyton Manning has called 12 Omahas today. And just the fact that they actually made that a stat line just was I thought was really funny. I mean, I'm not too surprised. I don't want to sound biased, but to me the Broncos were pretty clearly the better team. I thought that going into the game. They're better offensively, and their defense, based on how they went against San Diego, while they may not be as talented as the Patriots, the reality is, and I said this for a while, I said this at the start of the season when everyone was trashing their defense, John Fox and Jack Del Rio are great defensive minds. They took Jake Delhomme to the Super Bowl. When Jake Delhomme wasn't bad, but they know how to build the defense, a Super Bowl caliber defense. And I really did think that despite all the injuries, if there are any two guys that can get the defense together, it was those two. And I I wasn't really surprised. The Patriots moved the ball at will. I mean, the Broncos moved the ball at will. Brady, I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but I've been on this train for a while. When Rob Gronkowski wasn't on the field this season with this group of receivers, this season with the talent he had, he's not at the same level as Peyton Manning. When Gronkowski isn't on the field, statistically, his numbers are much closer to Matt Stafford and Andy Dalton than they are to Peyton Manning and Drew Brees, with the handicaps he has with Danny Amendola and Austin Collie and Matthew Slater that he's given. I'm not saying he's not as good as Peyton Manning or Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers. I'm saying with the talent he has, when Gronkowski isn't on the field, his numbers are a lot worse. So in the beginning, when everyone was saying, like, why is Brady playing so mediocre? I was just like, what did you expect? The dude had 0 touchdowns last week. Like, the running game has been carrying that team for years, and I knew, if nothing else, Denver. Say what you want about their coverage, but Denver all season has had a great run defense. I think that was that's why I was shocked, because I follow a lot of Patriots beat writers. I don't follow that many Denver beat writers, but I follow a lot of Patriots beat writers, and everyone was like, oh my God.
Because the Denver ones aren't any good, but go ahead.
Well, Mike Kliss is pretty good. Not Woody Page, Mike Kliss. But
Woody Page is the worst guy ever.
But awesome. I'm just saying, like, all week I just read everyone saying New Balance, Patriots offense, and all this and that. And I was like, do any of these guys realize that the Broncos have a top 5 run defense? Like, it was just simple to me. LeGarrette Blount's not going to run that much. It's going to be all Brady's going to have to do everything, and I think with the talent around him, Brady's not going to be that good. Like, I didn't think of Dan Hans has said it best in the Around the League podcast. Everyone tried to really talk themselves into it because it's the Patriots, but the result shouldn't have surprised anybody. And I agree with him. Again, I don't mean to sound like a dick by it, but I just...
Well, no, I mean, that's something I would actually say. Like, I kind of eventually talked myself into a Patriots victory when all along I knew Denver was the better team. I mean, hates to say, it's just one of those things.
Marquis,
one thing I want to add at the end that I just thought about when Big Rat was talking, real quick, is Big Rat, you should have... I can't believe I'm giving you fuel, but whatever. You should be happy because your Dolphins essentially probably lost.
Yes, I was thinking about that. For those who do not know, because the Dolphins beat the Patriots in Week 14, and that was the same week in Week 15, and that was the same week that the Broncos lost to the Chargers. Because the Dolphins won that game against the Patriots couldn't get the 1 seed. Although I do think that if the Patriots had beaten the Dolphins, they would have lost to the Ravens. I think one of the reasons that they did so well against the Ravens was because Belichick is amazing coming off a loss. But yes, the Dolphins helped send Peyton Manning to the Super Bowl. I'm aware of that. I'm definitely aware of that. So yeah, I'm happy about that. The one goddamn thing this team has given to me in the past 12 fucking years. But yes.
Bill Belichick kind of confused me in this game because, like, I get, you're trying to, Ridley, you're trying to get him involved so you can have a 1-2 punch. But after what LeGarrette Blount did the week before, nobody should have been touching that ball. but LeGarrette Blount, I would have just kept feeding him the ball. Didn't make any sense. I actually didn't think Tom Brady played that horribly. I thought he had a terrible quarter and a half.
Yeah, I remember. I was just talking about the first half, but yeah.
Yeah. I thought after that he was pretty good. He finished with pretty good numbers. People were like, it's all on Brady. He played. I felt like they were talking about Peyton Manning like a year ago. It's like he actually wasn't that bad. It was a multitude of things that was bad, and Peyton Manning had the touch of Jesus Christ in him. Because oh my God, like I would say that's like one of the best games he ever played in his life. Have you ever seen him that dominant?
Marking, the way he's playing right now, if you do not sack him or get him pressure, he is going to dominate you.
Like, and that's the other thing that bothered me about Belichick. He did he wasn't creative on defense. Like right. he just rushed 4 guys and drop everybody else in coverage. That shit ain't gonna work against. I'll get to that later. Quarterback of all time. I'll get to that later. It's just not gonna work, you know what I mean? So I you know what I'm saying? Props to the Broncos. They got rid of the Patriots. I ain't got to deal with Tom Brady, man love, all goddamn. like during the Super Bowl, no matter what would have happened, the Patriots would have been there. Every fucking personality on TV, every fucking reporter, every beat writer, everyone would have picked them because of number 12, and that shit gets on my nerve. But yeah, it's good, good
also,
for the Broncos.
What are you saying with coaching too? It's like this was early, so if it was later, then I would be even more harsh on it. But the Matthew Slater pass, like, I was like, huh? Like, back in the day, like, they used to do that a little bit, like, with Slater. So it's not like someone that's a Patriots fan would know that. Everybody else wouldn't. But it still was weird for me. Like, the throw to Matthew Slater, I'm like, now? Like, okay, later in the game when nothing else is working, but now? Like,
it was a bad play call, it was a bad decision, and it was a bad throw. That was the epitome of bad, bad just offense. Like, that was during the quarter when Brady was bad. Not okay, bad. He missed a lot of throws. He got a lot better in the second half. But that Matthew Slater, everyone talks about the Edelman thing. That was just a miss. The Matthew Slater thing was on a 3rd and 1. It was a bad call. Brady made the bad read, and then Brady made a bad throw. It was just all around, just not a good idea. And for those who want to know about the Broncos' dominance, every drive they had went past the 50-yard line. Every single one. And they never started a drive past the 20. In fact, many times they were closer to the goal line than they were to the 20, thanks to Steven Gostkowski and Ryan Allen, I think. If he was playing, I don't remember. But anyways, that was that. Broncos won. Obviously, I was ecstatic. Like, after that, I was just done. I watched the other game, but I was like, I do not care who wins this game. I'm happy that Peyton's in the Super Bowl. And I thought both the Seahawks presented a challenge as being the best defense in the NFL. And the Niners, they're not as good as the Seahawks on defense, but they also have a much better offense, which was more concerning. But I saw the other game as well. Seahawks won 23-17. Colin Kaepernick had 3 turnovers in the fourth quarter. And I'll go first on this one just very quickly. I think Kaepernick got a little too much blame. I mean, yeah, I guess that last play. I mean, maybe he shouldn't have thrown it there, but people don't have to realize that if any other quarterback aside from Richard Sherman's right there, that's a touchdown. Like, and even
exactly.
And Richard Sherman,
kids are preaching right now.
And if you go back and you watch that play, Richard Sherman didn't just tip it. Richard Sherman was spinning in midair because he lost Crabtree on coverage and he had the instincts to get his hand up and get that ball tipped. It was an incredible, just like, even by Richard Sherman standards, if you watch that play, people don't remember his positioning. Watch that play while the ball's in the air. He's fucked. Like, you would think
that was clear. That was just solely anticipation.
Yes.
That was just instincts, though. People don't understand how hard that is to do. Like,
yes.
he lost his footing, lost the ball, and lost his man.
The bottom line, too, like, I have to say this, though. Why are you doing that on first down, though? It doesn't.
No,
like that,
I mean, the play call I didn't like. Yeah.
Because that's not the call you call on first down. That's a fourth down play where you got to go for the gold. Like, it was not needed there.
No, and I agree. And other people have pointed out that if Crabtree had caught the touchdown, you're giving the Seahawks 20 seconds, and all they need is a field goal. It's not hard to imagine Russell Wilson on that 49ers secondary that Markeem has been bearing for a year. It's not hard to imagine Russell Wilson fucking getting to the 40-yard line and kicking a game-winning field goal. It's very easy. So I agree, but I'm just saying Kaepernick, I thought, got too much blame. Kaepernick played pretty well against the Seahawks compared to his previous standards before that quarter. That fumble wasn't his fault. That was just, he should have ran it. But that was just tremendous pressure from Michael Bennett and Cliff Avril. I give them more credit than I blame Kaepernick. The Cam Chancellor interception, yeah, okay, that was dumb. Fine.
That's a bad pass.
That was just horrible. That was
horrible.
That might have been a worse interception than any interception Andy Dalton threw against the Chargers. Like, I was shocked when I saw it. I was just like,
huh?
I was like, what? Like, that was on him. But I just think Kaepernick's getting way too much blame, which is funny because one of the reasons I kind of didn't want Kaepernick to win the Super Bowl, aside from Peyton Manning, is because I really didn't want the narrative to start to form. Like, you'll probably see it on First Take. He's been to 2 Super Bowls in a row. He's already won a Super Bowl. He's only 24. Is Colin Kaepernick already one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL? Like, I could feel it. I could feel that growing, that it doesn't matter his stats. He's just a winner that always leads his team to victory. I could feel the narrative coming on. And now it seems like the narrative was almost completely reversed. But anyways, I thought it was a great game. Russell Wilson gets a lot of props from me on that touchdown. That was impressive. And Pete Carroll, I thought, coached a very questionable game. And the whole game, I was watching with my friend, who's a big Seahawks fan. And my friend last year buried Pete Carroll for his coaching performance against the Falcons. Pete Carroll's in-game playoff coaching ability hasn't been great. And I think that's something to consider.
Pains me to agree with you, but
I mean, I
agree.
He's a phenomenal coach, but I'm just
that's
saying.
That's my boy, but
yeah. Like he was making that touchdown. That was 4th and 7. They turned down a 53-yard field goal in their own building. On 4th and 7, they're down. They're down in the game. I don't know if it was at the start of the fourth quarter or what have you. And they go for the end zone, and I was just like, what? Like, this is retarded. And then Russell Wilson made an amazing throw, and Javon Curse made a great catch. It was a touchdown, and all is forgotten. But Pete Carroll has a habit, and he did it against the Falcons, too. If you remember that Falcons game, Pete Carroll in the red zone and in the fourth quarter. Jermaine Curse. But Pete Carroll in the red zone and in the fourth quarter in the playoffs has a very bad habit of giving up field goals. Which, you have to be aggressive, you need touchdowns, but it can really damage you to always give it up. And I just personally think that Harbaugh coached a better game than him. I just thought Carroll had the better team. But anyways, those are my only thoughts on that. I'll throw it to Markeem now.
All right, since we're not talking about Richard Sherman yet, I'll just comments on the game. One of my favorite playoff games of all time. Yeah, I said it. That game was...
It was fun.
That was an experience, man.
That was a lot of fun.
That last quarter, that play at the end. I don't think y'all understand. Like, that play at the end, like that was for one of the best plays of all time. Like, win, lose, or draw, whatever happens in this game, Richard Sherman is now a legend. Like forever. Like when he goes in the Hall of Fame, when his career is over, that will be the play that plays over and over again. That play, that was incredible. Like, props to the Seahawks.
Markeem.
Sorry, what the hell happened? But yeah, props to the Seahawks. That game was in Candlestick, different result. I think no doubt about that. But props to them. Should be a great game.
Phil, any quick thoughts?
Not much to say. I actually did not get to watch this game live. I had to end up watching a replay of it later. But man, this is still insane. How I just love Russell Wilson, dude. That dude, just going back to his touchdown play, the dude is just becoming arguably my second favorite quarterback in the game. I just love to watch him play. He makes great plays. As far as what you said about Kaepernick, to switch gears real quick, the bottom line is you can't turn the ball over. I mean, you're going to get the blame. I mean, it's just the pros and cons of being a quarterback in the NFL. Does he deserve all the blame? Of course not. They never do. But you got to point to him in some form or fashion. But also, you can also make the argument while you say that. You have to make the argument that if Kaepernick's not in the game, are they even in it? I mean, the guy.
Let that have been Alex Smith.
Yeah, beat the Panther. I mean, it's just you can't really. I mean, are they even at their spot they are without Kaepernick? Kaepernick had a crazy run late in the end of the year, so you gotta give him props where they're due, and you can't give him too much hate. But obviously you can't turn the ball.
No, that last pass, man, like he thought Crabtree just lost Richard Sherman. That play, man. I'm sorry. I know I keep going back to it, but that for real, that was incredible.
An amazing play, and the other, which I can't think of who it was all of a sudden.
The other interception was Cam Chancellor.
No, the guy that caught it. Who was the guy that caught it?
Oh, Malcolm Smith.
Yeah, that's right. Had a heads up play. I mean,
yes, he's not getting enough credit.
And
he's not supposed to be there. That was
he's not right, and he followed him, and so that was a great play by him as well. One thing I'll say is, and I know we'll hold off on Richard Sherman, but that's the kind of play you got to make if you're going to have the mouth that you have Richard Sherman. Like, if you're going to be the greatest, you're going to be the best, make them regret throwing to you when it matters the most. And he did. Bottom line. So we'll get more into that later, but
cause I imagine I would have did the same thing if I was Kaepernick, because it looked like he was open. They even had a camera shot from behind Kaepernick, and when he saw it, looked like it was just Crabtree. Right. Now, the argument could be made that he could have thrown to the outer corner, so only Crabtree had a chance to make a play.
Well, like I said, right. But like I said, it's not the time to do it. Like, the last play of the game, I don't blame you for going at Sherman, but first down, you don't have to make that play. And to attack Sherman is kind of I would take offense if I was Sherman. Like, it's first down and you're going to the end zone for the end of the game. Like, I'd take offense too. If I think I'm the best corner in the game. So. I feel like he had to make a play, and he did. So that's props to him. And it's gutsy. That was a gutsy call to make that call on first down. I still stand by that. But Marshawn Lynch is a beast, by the way.
Obviously.
We didn't mention him, but
let me just say that just so people realize how quick. Just imagine. People don't realize how such little things could really change the course of NFL history. If Kaepernick makes that touchdown, first off, the past week, you hear nothing about Richard Sherman. And just that alone is crazy to think about. You hear all kinds of stories about how much of an incredible young phenom Colin Kaepernick in his first 2 seasons getting to 2 straight Super Bowls. You hear nothing about Russell Wilson, nothing about Pete Carroll, people writing articles about how Harbaugh's the coach of the year, people debating how much of a loss Navarro Bowman is, whether or not that would affect them. Like, just so much change.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that, man. I was praying for that guy.
Yeah,
that looked nasty.
That was rough. And he held on. He got robbed, too. Like, when I was watching the game, like, damn, that guy tore his ACL, and they took away his
and they took away that.
Like, oh, that was rough.
But like LV got mad at me, though, because I was like, man, fuck the play. I'm worried about his leg. Well, it could decide again. Like, I'm sorry, I'm a human. I'm sorry. Yeah.
All right, now we'll move on to Richard Sherman. I don't see the point in moving on to anything else of it. Obviously, Richard Sherman, after the game, cut a fantastic promo. I've seen it so many times, I think I can recite it word for word. That's what you get for putting me with a sorry-ass receiver like Crabtree. Don't you ever open your mouth about the best.
Don't you ever talk about me.
Who opened your mouth? Who opened their mouth?
Who about you?
Crabtree! Yeah, because I'm the best corner in the game, baby. LOB. But yes, he went crazy. And I know I did a huge injustice to that, but I'm going to put in the description box Richard Sherman's interview with Mean Gene Okerlund.
I'm sure you've all seen it. With Mean Gene and Andrew.
That was fantastic. That was fantastic. But anyways, but yeah, he cut this huge promo. A lot of people got offended. A lot of people didn't get offended. I'm going to also post in the description box because it's a great read. Richard Sherman, for those who do not know, writes for Peter King's quarterback and for Peter King's website, mmqb.si, Sports Illustrated Monday Morning Quarterback. Richard Sherman writes for them. He's like one of the writers, and he wrote 10 things I regret since that day. And you should all read it. It's great. I won't talk about it here, but just initial thoughts.
I think I've read that.
Yeah, for what it's worth, the first thing he said is, I realized over the days that no one ever became big by reminding someone else of how small they were. Which is basically like, no one ever gets popular by insulting the guy that they're competing against. I didn't have to do that to Crabtree. That was wrong, basically, in short. But there's other great stuff. But Phil, I'll throw it to you. Your initial reaction when you heard about Richard Sherman.
Well, first of all, everybody's going nuts. Like I said earlier, I didn't watch it live. So, I'm like hearing all this stuff about Sherman. I'm getting texts from my friends saying, I'm not rooting for the Seahawks. I'm rooting for the Broncos now. I'm like, geez, what the heck happened? I'm like, so I'm like not even knowing what's going on. So then I listen. I'll finally find the video. It's of course online like seconds later or whatever. But anyways, I pull it up. I watch it, and I'm like, that's it.
I can imagine. No, Dave Meltzer said the same thing. After being bombarded with messages, he finally saw it, and he was like, oh, okay. Like,
I expected him to cut in it. Like, well, I guess he did, technically. But, to be going crazy. Basically, to me, I looked at it, I'm like, okay, so he pulled a Bart Scott. Like, that's literally what I said to myself. I'm like, okay, so he's, like, the only thing I could see is I said, if you're a Niners fan, I could totally understand why you're mad. You deserve all rights to be mad. Because I was in that, because I could feel for him, because obviously you don't want anybody talking about your team, so I could understand if Niners fans were mad. Makes sense. Plus, there's a rivalry. It's heated. You should hate Richard Sherman after that. Totally understand that. But anyone else, I was like, huh? Like, and my friend that texted me was not a Niners fan. So it's like, I was like, what? Like, that was it? Like, here's my thing. Should he have called Crabtree sorry? No. But clearly there's history there. Like, you don't get that mad for there not to be history. Bart Scott, why was he mad? Because no one gave Jets respect because the Patriots always beat them. So why was Bart Scott mad? Because of that. So he had reasoning to be mad, regardless of what he said and, all that. Same thing with Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman, obviously Crabtree said something to him before, otherwise he would not be like that. point back to Richard Sherman against Tom Brady. I love Tom Brady, but if Tom Brady said something to him, he wanted to prove himself wrong. When he was wrong, he went up to Brady and said, "You mad, bro?" He didn't actually say, "You mad, bro." That was me. But anyway, he went up to Brady, and confronted him. It's like, so what were you saying about that score? I mean, that's if someone's talking smack to you and you back it like that. I think that's just the bad thing about it is it's kind of like when to simplify it here is when there's a fight. Who gets penalized? The second punch. Like if there's two guys fighting, it's usually the guy that pushes the guy second is the one that the flag comes out.
You're supposed to sit there and get your ass whooped?
Huh?
Not getting your ass whooped.
Sit there and get your ass whooped?
No, but you're.
No, but what I'm saying is it's not the guy. Like I'm saying, Sherman's getting.
That's what I'm saying, Phil. That's what I'm saying. Like he shouldn't be penalized that much because all he was doing was defending himself.
Oh, right. So it's like if you were told, like I'm not saying this. Let's just say Crabtree said that. Oh, I'm not worried about Sherman. Like I said in an interview, I told Sherman, like, Sherman, I'm going to own you this year because you're nothing. I'm going to prove why you're not a top corner in this league. You don't think Sherman's going to be like, all right, see you at the end of the year? Like, you don't think Sherman's going to piss you off? Like, if I told, I don't know a good example here, but like, whatever you do for a living, if I sat there and said, nothing about comics and I'm going to prove it this year, like, you think, I don't know, that's not a good example.
I'll punch you in the face.
You're right. So you're going to at least prove to me that I'm wrong or whatever. So it's like if you're out there, you're good, whatever. Bottom line, he thinks he's the best corner in the league. You can't sit there, if Crabtree said something about him not even being a good corner, period, you can't blame it. I mean, he's going to attack Crabtree, or mediocre, as he said in another interview. Mediocre. I like the way he said that. But another thing about the interview that people did not know is everybody was like, Aaron Andrews hated him. It's like, no, did you not see? They show another angle where he actually hugged Aaron Andrews before the interview even started. So you gotta love media because you don't get to see the good stuff. I mean, you don't get to see the whole picture. You get to see fast little seconds and stuff. But I just don't. I don't see. I was like I said, if I was an Niners fan, maybe I'm mad. Because I still hate Bart Scott. I mean, that's just how it goes. But if I'm a Niners fan, I'm mad. But outside of that, why are you mad? Like Sherman. I do think the cutthroat. That's the biggest story out of it. Him doing the cutthroat thing was ridiculous. Him going straight up to Crabtree and expect, like, I'm sorry, Sherman, you can't tell me you're going up there to shake that dude's hand. Like, no, you weren't. You were there to taunt him. Like everybody's like, oh, Sherman's like, what do you mean? I was clearly going up there to shake his hand.
He said, hell of a game there, baby.
Yeah, but you were not there to shake his hand. Like, you were there to rub it in. Like, let's just, like, don't try to sugarcoat it. You were there to rub it in. Like, so, anyways, that's the only thing I'll say about that. But one other thing is, why is the word thug being used? I don't get that one bit. Like, I don't get that. But anyway.
I was going to get to that. Go ahead.
So I'll let Markeem go after because I don't...
Okay. Basically, I feel exactly how Phil feels about what Sherman did. I think it's been blown out of proportion. I think the whole him attacking Kaepernick and the rest of the team... I'm sorry. Attacking Kaepernick and the rest of the team wasn't cool, but everything he said to Crabtree though, I'm totally fine with that. They be talking shit to each other. It is what it is. My thing is that coming from a black man, I think the whole this is like I'm not gonna say black people aren't racist because we are. I mean, we look at white people and we assume certain things. It just is what it is. But you have, I'm not saying it's the majority, but there's a group of white people that saw this black guy, tattoos all over him, dreadlocks to his shoulders, you know what I mean? Goatee, scruffy looking guy from Compton, California, acting niggerish on TV. I mean, let's call it what it is. And they think, oh, this dude's a thug and he ain't got no home training, blah, 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 blah. Let me get you a little bit of background on Richard Sherman in case y'all don't know. He graduated from Stanford University. If y'all know Stanford University is one of the top colleges in the goddamn nation.
Pretty sure people know that.
but I'm just saying. With a 3.9 GPA, came from the streets of Compton, California. Around drug dealing, prostitution, gang banging. He knows motherfuckers. Like he has cousins that are part of that are vice lords, that are bloods. You know what I mean? His cousins that live that life. You know what I'm saying? And he rose above that and went to one of the toughest colleges in the goddamn country, played wide receiver until he was a senior there. You know what I mean? So think about it this way. He is the best in the world at his current position that he's only been playing for about 3-4 years now. Think about that for a second. You gonna tell me that doesn't take a smart individual to do that? The word thug, you know what I mean? The word thug is usually used for motherfuckers with no home training that, but pretty much a bunch of hood boogers. You know what I mean? And that's not Sherman. Sherman is an educated dude, you know what I mean, that just acts out. It is what it is. That's not an excuse to call him, like, if this is a white dude doing all this shit, you think that word is ever used? You think that even comes up? They might call him an asshole, scumbag, jerkface, all that stuff. But thug will never be used in that sentence. Aaron Hernandez, who happens to be a thug, but Aaron Hernandez, who shot, whatever, whether he did or not, he did all that. He got labeled a thug. You know what I mean? Like, he's a thug and blah, blah, blah.
I don't think I even heard Vic get labeled a thug, though.
No. When Vic was killing them dogs and shit, yeah.
You think okay, I never heard that. I never heard thug being.
Yeah, they did all sorts of shit, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, like, but Richie Incognito, for instance, you know what I mean? He straight bullied a dude, bullied, quote unquote, a guy, you know what I mean? And the word thug, I've never heard that used. Not once. Not one time. I wonder why that is. Like, what Richie Incognito, like what it looked like he did to, help me out, kid. Who's that?
Jonathan Martin.
What it looked like he did to him was way worse than what Sherman did to Crabtree. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
and then people were quick to go.
Yes, people suck at being thugs. Maybe that's why.
You said what?
I said white people aren't very good at being thugs, so maybe that's why.
Wow, Phil. But you know what I'm saying? I just said it was an excuse. Yeah, honestly, I really think it was just a substitution for the word nigga. It is what it is.
That's what Sherman said, yeah.
Like, it is what it is. But go ahead, kid.
No, I pretty much agree. I think Richard Sherman's a fucking genius. Maybe that was my initial reaction. Everyone was like, "Wow, this guy's an idiot. How could he say this?" At least my friends. I was like, "Are you kidding? This guy's super smart. He knows exactly what he's doing."
He's trying to be a face of the NFL. How many corners you can say that about? How many times have we seen Richard Sherman since this happened?
Like, it's incredible. People are like phrasing the game as like Peyton Manning versus Richard Sherman.
Exactly.
Like, Richard Sherman is the heel of the
NFL. Like,
fuck
Russell Wilson.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Like, it's incredible. I thought the guy was super smart. And, man, all I know is if I were to make a play like that, I'll say whatever the goddamn hell I want. That's all I'll say. But now I'm going to get to my very quick rant because...
Hold on a second.
What?
I'll say one thing I'll just add at the end of that is bottom line, like I said, kind of said earlier, if you talk, you got to back it up. So the only thing that the downfall to this is now Sherman, if he plays quote unquote horrible or quote unquote bad or okay in the Super Bowl, now he's gonna have to eat it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what, like,
yeah.
So that's the thing that goes, and it's not a knock on his play, but it's a knock on, look, if you bring that much attention to yourself, that's just how it's gonna like, you got to realize that if you don't make this great performance, that you're gonna get every little bit of you is under the microscope. So
now I'm gonna go on my Dolphins rant. I personally recently the Miami Dolphins fired general manager Jeff Ireland, and we're on a GM search, and they had several names in mind: Ray Farmer, who works for the Browns, Nick Caserio, who works for the Patriots, Jason Licht, who works for the Cardinals, Lake Dawson, who works for the Titans. In short, everybody turned the job down.
Would you want any of those guys, though?
That's what I was saying.
Anybody would want a Patriot.
But as a GM, they don't spend no money.
Right. That's right.
No, honestly, of all the guys, of all the teams, the Buccaneers, the Titans, the Patriots, and the Browns, the team that drafted the best is the Buccaneers. The guy that we did get, Dennis Hickey, who's from Tampa Bay, and who reportedly did every single Tampa Bay draft.
Well, okay. All right.
And Tampa Bay has been bad lately because of a coach. Sorry, I know he's your boy, Markeem, but because of a coach and because of a quarterback. But as far as talent is concerned, I mean, that team has a lot of talent. That team, that's why everyone's viewing them as next year's Chiefs. And with Lovie Smith, like, everyone really views that as a team that can win 9-10 games next year and make the playoffs. Like, they going with Mike Glennon? They just going with him? I mean, he statistically, he had he had like an 84 quarterback rating for the season, which was like 1 point below the league average. Like
let's go with it.
Mike Lennon, Doug Martin when he comes back, which people seem to forget about.
If Mike Glennon turns into like an elite quarterback, oh my God.
Vincent Jackson, tons of talent on the offensive line. Obviously, the defense is just stacked with Levante David, Gerald McCoy, Darrell
Reeves getting a full season.
Like that team is pretty talented, and I think a lot of that has to do with Dennis Hickey. Mark Dominic, the Tampa Bay GM, is the guy that was more in charge of, trading for Darrell Reeves, which you could say whether or not that was a good or a bad decision, and making other trades in the draft that people seem to have been a little questionable on. But I'm going to give this guy a chance. A lot of people have been burying him. I have no idea how good he's going to be. No one knows how good he's going to be. All I'm going to say is of all the teams that everyone seems to be so sad that they couldn't get Nick Caserio, Ray Farmer of the Cleveland fucking Browns. Everyone's like so sad, and everyone like mocked the Dolphins. Like, this franchise is an embarrassment. No one wants their GM job. No one wants their GM job because they think Joe Philbin's going to get fired, which is very possible. Like, that's why no one wants the job. It's because they think that the coach is it's not their coach, and the coach is going to get fired. Dennis Hickey, I'll give him a chance. We'll see how he does. I'm not just going to write him off like everyone seems to do. And I'm just tired of everybody fucking destroying someone in the media, and then when they start to do well, it just goes ignored. I think there's too much of a lack of patience in the American sports media. No one wants to wait. No one wants to see the results. It's let's talk results now, not let's talk results a year from now. It's we need to write an article today, so let's talk results today. And based on today, Dennis Hickey's no good. I'll give him a shot. That's all I got to say, personally. Super Bowl. Quickly, let's get into the weather, and then, of course, we'll get into the actual game. But Markeem, Phil, I know you guys, I'm mad that the Super Bowl's in Jersey. I've gotten into a big fight on Twitter with typical ROH fan TJ Hawk and Trademark about this. I think the NFL could have avoided this. That's just me. Yes, the weather's unpredictable everywhere, but the weather here is not unpredictable. It's predictable. It's going to be cold as fuck. You could have prevented that. That's my argument. But anyways, you two, Phil, I guess you can go first. Talk about the weather, if you have any comments.
Phil? A while ago, he's taking too long. Right. Okay. I thought the Super Bowl was a celebration, kind of like a vacation type deal for everyone. You know what I mean? How is it a vacation when we're sitting in like 10-degree weather, watching a football game? And you know what? Even the cold doesn't even necessarily bother me as much. It's the prospect that it might snow. Like, you know what I mean? Like, dog, like this can be avoided. Like, dog, say what you want. I know it's about the elements and all that stuff, but when it snows, the game is no longer about who is better. It's about who can make the least amount of mistakes. It is that simple. The ball is unpredictable. It's slippery. Crazy shit happens. It is what it is. Maybe rain is also unpredictable, but fucking snow is like, you know what I mean? It's a totally different animal. You know what I mean? And if you saw that Eagles game this year, Eagles and Lions, it didn't come down to who was the better team. It came down to who didn't turn the ball over as much at the end. You know what I mean? And I don't want that game to be like that. You know what I mean? Because it's supposed to be the best team in the NFL. How are we going to find that out when people are just fighting to hold on to the ball?
I completely agree, and I'll again post it in the description.
Like it's cool. It's fine for a regular season game, but this is a controlled situation that the NFL has manipulated and made into what into what they want. You can control this situation by simply putting it somewhere else.
And I'm gonna again put in the description box. Richard Sherman, believe it or not, wrote an article for the MMBQ about cold weather in the Super Bowl, and he wrote it a month ago. And it's actually quite great. So I'll post that in as well, in addition to all the other stuff. Well, I think Phil.
What? Oh, I'm back, sorry.
All right, talk about weather in the Super Bowl very quickly.
I was listening to Markeem, some things he said. Sorry, I had to walk away. One thing I want to say before I get to what I think about it is, if you don't remember, I remember this for good reasons. Others remember it because they're whiny little babies. But Oakland Raiders played my New England Patriots in Tom Brady's first run to get his first ring. That game was in the snow. That game had, not even talking about the tuck rule. That game was in the snow. That game had elements that game was not going to be the same if it wasn't in the snow like that. So there's other ones you can point to. That's just the one that comes to mind to me. There's others, Lambeau's always been cold, really, really cold. It hasn't snowed, but so I do kind of point at that, and I'm like, well, people say, well, it doesn't belong in the Super Bowl. Well, why? If someone has to win in those conditions, possibly in the playoffs, why not in the Super Bowl?
Because you can't control that. In the Super Bowl, you can.
But
ideally, you don't want to play in snow. Like, ideally, it's not. No one wants to play in snow. Ideally.
But here's where I say that doesn't count necessarily. I just want to bring that point up. But is what I think Markeem kind of said it the best. This is an environment they've controlled for so long. This is something this is a big event. It's not just. I mean, it's kind of like I like to compare it basically just because it's easier to compare it like this to WrestleMania. Okay. There's other things WrestleMania weekend, right? There's a lot. That's a huge week. Well, for now, but that's for a whole other different kind of show. But WrestleMania weekend has so many different elements, right? Super Bowl weekend is the same way. Like I bet there's so many things that you can do that weekend. It's not even funny, and the amount of media that's in and all that kind of stuff, and that has to play a factor in whether you think it should be mainly about football. Period. I mean, which it is. It's about a football game, but it still comes down to you can't have those kind of environments. And here's my thing about it, where now you're having to, if you're having to, and I think Markeem kind of touched on this, but if you're having to pick, if your pick on who's going to win the Super Bowl is very affected by weather in any sense, that's kind of bad. Because that happens in playoff games, but for a Super Bowl to determine the best team in the league, you don't want to say this team won because the other team is not good in this weather, in this kind of weather. This team is better in that kind of weather. And to me, honestly, and I would say the same thing, even though they're more used to playing in that kind of weather. I would still say a Brady or a Peyton or anybody like that, that kind of quarterback, it does not favor the Super Bowl. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
What are y'all looking at?
I just sent Markeem something hilarious that I just saw on Twitter. And I just thought it needed to be shared. Maybe I'll post that one. I'm not so sure if I'll post in the description.
Yeah, you can't post that one.
That one might get this video taken down. So if you're interested, just message me on Twitter or something, and I'll send it to you. All right, now we can talk about the game, the Super Bowl. Obviously, score prediction as well as analysis as well as MVP prediction. But Philip, you're gonna go first.
I'm going first. You're going to put me on a spot? Dang. Hold on, I'm clicking this picture. I want to know what it is. Oh, man. You're going to put me on a spot like that already? Hold on. I'm trying to load this picture because I'm sure it's about...
That picture's awesome. And the tweet is great, too. Just like...
Oh, what the crap? Oh, that's not about me. Okay.
This is dead silence on air right now.
That is hilarious. Wow, that's horrible, and yes, it would get us blocked. Anyway.
For those that wouldn't know, here, I'll just say this. Go to the Twitter handle CKParrot. He writes for the Dolphins. Jonathan Martin did an interview today where he said he felt he was being trapped. And Chris Kaufman, CKParrot...
I'm trying to get trapped like that.
Right? CKParrot tweets, clear evidence of Martin being trapped. Keep in mind, Incognito forced the offensive lineman to have meetings at the strip club. And then there's a picture.
And just look at that picture.
And just look at the picture.
I don't think that's why he was upset.
No. To say the least. He's got money in his hand, too. That's the best part of the picture that people seem to forget. But yeah, he's got a lot of money. But... Phil, yes.
He's focusing on the money. Ass.
What are you looking at the money? Yeah.
I'm just saying. I was already looking at that stuff. I was looking around now to the rest of the thing. But Phil.
Oh, okay. Right.
Phil, score. I'm going with you first because me and you have this as our. For those who do not know, several weeks ago when we predicted the playoffs, me and Phil both picked Broncos Seahawks, but obviously with different winners. So just, are you sticking with that analysis? Go, Tom.
I am sticking with the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks. I said not last week, but the last show leading into the conference games, I said, as much as it pains me to say it at the time, I said even though I'm picking the Patriots and if they go to the Super Bowl, whoever wins this, Broncos or Patriots, isn't winning the Super Bowl because I have Seattle beating them, and that's because I still stick by that. Now, obviously, it's easier for me to do that because it's the Broncos and not the Patriots. But let me tell you, the same reasons apply. Peyton Manning won, and this will go the same way with Brady, but just keep that in mind because I'm not gonna say it again. But Peyton Manning has not faced a defensive line like this all year, not just playoffs. All year has not faced a defensive line like this. He has not faced a defense period like this. Also, Peyton Manning to me. Now, Chargers game, I don't say so much. There were some throws in the Patriots game. Had the defense been coherent, I'm not gonna say that we were that bad, but we were bad. There was literally a play if a quarterback around pick six, like that's what it would have been. Like even the announcers were saying, like obviously the announcers were gonna say it, but like it literally would have been a pick six if the Patriots player turned around. I'm not This is just critiquing. I mean, everybody gets analyzed like this at the Super Bowl time. But I think Peyton Manning made some throws that were questionable. Played outrageously great. I'm not taking that away from him, but I do think that he's not going to be able to get away with those throws in the Super Bowl. Now, will he make those? I don't know. But, why are you laughing?
Just keep...
I'm just laughing at a picture, Nick.
No. He had another great tweet. I'm going through my favorites to find it, and I'm just reading a bunch of funny stuff.
Still like our Super Bowl analysis.
All right, just go. Keep going.
All right. But, yeah, I think that defense of Seattle is ruthless. Now, of course, there's going to be the factor of now they got to go to the East Coast, and if you don't know about Seattle going to the East Coast, but they have had a lot more time this time. It's the Super Bowl. It's a different environment. Will Seattle, which I thought I found a stat that what's the word I'm looking for, baffled me. Nobody on Seattle has ever been to the Super Bowl. No one. That is crazy. I don't think it has happened. It happened, I don't know the last time it happened. I saw the stat, but I don't remember. The Redskins or something? Or no, the Bills. I think it was the Bills. I don't know what year it was. Big Rack, if you've done
first year they went.
Say it again.
Look that up for me real quick, Big Rat.
What?
The last, I don't know if you can find it. Anyways.
Just tell me what it is!
The last time a team has gone to the
Super Bowl experience
when no one has ever been to the Super Bowl.
1990 Bills.
1990 Bills. Okay, thank you. There you go, Mr. That guy. All right. But yeah, I thought that was crazy. Like I could not believe that. So that's going to be a factor. I think Seattle will have to, adapt from that. They're going to have, but I just think they've been too well. I don't think they're just going to go in this game and choke. I'd be so shocked if Denver just came in and creamed them, like Seattle decided not to play. Like I just don't see that happening. This is just not the mold of the Seattle team. And I just think that this Denver Broncos team, that offensive line is going to have to. They've been playing great. Much credit for them. They've been playing great. They've stepped up in the New England game. They stepped up in the Chargers game. But they're going to have to step up even more in this game, and I just don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think they don't have the run game like Seattle has, and I have to say it, weather's going to be a factor, and if it's a factor, that puts the needle to me even further on Seattle because they can do their kind of game. It fits Seattle more than it fits Denver. Not to mention Denver's defense is going to have to be awake for all 4 quarters of this game, not like they have been able to only be awake for 3 quarters of the game. The last 2 games. So I just like Seattle. I really like Seattle. It's not Denver hate. It's not Wes Welker hate. But I will say this, and I stick by my prediction of this happening, even though I don't have Denver winning the Super Bowl. If Denver does win, and I'm wrong about Seattle, I'm not hedging my bets. I'm not going there. But I'm saying if Denver does win the Super Bowl, Peyton Manning will retire, and I'll hate it because then I cannot get another win. Tom Brady cannot face Peyton Manning ever again. So that will suck on my end. But I will say, and Brady will always be my number 1. Always. That's not going to change. But it'll be very hard to argue Peyton Manning as the greatest quarterback ever.
You can't. There's no argument.
Yeah. Just what he's got multiple Super Bowl wins. There you go for that, for the people that have that argument. And then he also, and I hope it's bad weather if he does win. Like I honestly do, because then that's like another notch to his belt. It's like I don't see any reason why Peyton wouldn't retire. I don't care. Screw records that are going to get broken by Andrew Luck. Like, just screw those. Like, you got your second ring. Get out of the league, Peyton. Like, I don't want you out of the league. I would be great to see you again, but I'm just saying. But anyways, I got Seattle. I think the defense. By the way, no number one. I don't. Maybe I can check up on this, but I don't think a number one defense has ever lost to a number one offense in the Super Bowl. You can look that up for me, but I'm pretty sure.
The last 7 teams that had the highest points of all time, like the 2007 Patriots and all lost. Yeah, every single one. However, if Peyton Manning does end up one day as the GOAT, then you would think if any quarterback would be able to get past that, then it would be Peyton Manning. But
that's what I said. And then you look at it, they say that this Denver team broke a lot of the record, but Peyton did. The scoring record of that 07 Patriots team, and who did the 07 Patriots team lose to? A defense. And that
here, I guess I'll go next and leave Markeem the only.
I gotta pick a score, right?
Oh yeah, score and MVP.
All right, score and MVP. Score. I don't want to go too low because it's still Peyton Manning. Score, I will go. I'll make it close. 24-21. Seattle wins. MVP. It's between. You can't give MVP to Richard Sherman. There's no way he'll get enough stats to get that. But I'm gonna go MVP.
Yeah, but it has. It's just unlikely. I get what you're trying to say.
When's the last time a quarterback got it though?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Dexter Jackson won it as a safety in
the
Tampa Bay.
for the Buccaneers.
I think Buccaneers Super Bowl.
Here's my thing: the real MVP of this game will be Marshawn Lynch. Who gets it? Russell Wilson.
That's probably a fair analysis.
Yeah. Because he'll play too good enough not to give it because they'll give it to the quarterback. I think he'll have good stats. So.
Oh fuck! I mean, not that it really matters, but I forgot that our actual playoff predictions are on my other computer. But again, not like that actually matters. So
y'all find out after the Super Bowl. Shit, we'll have one more show after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, definitely. So Phil has Seahawks defeating the Broncos 24-21. Russell Wilson MVP.
On a last-second drop by Wes Welker. I'm just kidding.
That'd be something. All right, my turn. I mean, obviously I have the Broncos winning, not just because I love Peyton Manning just as much as I love the Dolphins. Well, almost as much. But mainly because, I mean, I picked the Broncos. I've had the Broncos winning the Super Bowl for most of the year, and I'm just not going to back out of that. I think this game is going to go exactly 100% identical to last year's Ravens-Niners Super Bowl. I think Russell Wilson's going to struggle on offense because I think, like I said, John Fox and Jack Del Rio are intelligent defensive coordinators. People forget that Russell Wilson still has to score, and the Denver defense has been really good lately, and the Seattle offense has been lately. So, I mean, the Seattle has to score too.
Stop making my points.
But I'm just saying, personally, I think Russell Wilson's going to struggle early on. I think Peyton Manning is going to take advantage of the looks he sees on defense. I'm not saying they're going to go up 28-6, but I think Russell Wilson may have an interception or two in him.
And then the lights go out?
And no, well, not the lights go out, but I think I see the Broncos being up by 10 at halftime. And then I see Russell Wilson doing what he did. I see this game going almost exactly as how the Seahawks-Falcons game went in the playoffs last year. I see Pete Carroll making some very questionable coaching decisions, especially in the red zone. I see Wilson struggling, and I see the Seattle team not really clicking, and I see the Broncos being up by 10 points at halftime, and then maybe they go up by 17 at the start of the third quarter, maybe by 13, maybe just at 10, and then Russell Wilson does some crazy shit in the fourth quarter to bring them back into it, and then Peyton Manning, in good old Tom Brady style, drives down for Matt Prater to kick the game-winning field goal, and I'll say Broncos win. I'm gonna say 31-28. I think it's gonna be a little higher scoring than people think. The San Francisco 49ers put 17 points on these guys, and their offense is half as talented as Denver's is. as far as execution, not as far as talent. And yeah, I'm gonna have the Broncos.
Big rat.
What?
You just said 34-28, but Peyton wins with a field
No,
goal.
I said 31.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I'll dock that one down. I'll say 28-27. 28-27 is my final score, with the Broncos winning, and I'll have Peyton Manning. And I think if the Broncos win this game,
Who's favored this game, by the way?
What?
I'm assuming the Broncos. Who's favored?
Broncos are favored.
By how many?
2. So
Oh, wow.
I do not have them covering the spread. I'll say 30-27 just to make it nice and even, and have them cover the spread. No, I'll go back to 28.
Make up your mind.
28-27. 28-27. That's my final score. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, but if the Broncos win, I think Peyton Manning gets MVP almost automatically, no matter what he does in the game. I just don't see them giving it to anybody else.
There's no way.
I mean, maybe if No. Marino runs for 300 yards, but yeah.
I don't care. I mean, Peyton Manning would have to throw 5 interceptions.
And what people don't also realize is that Peyton Manning's coming back next year. And next year, if they win the Super Bowl this year, next year they get Chris Harris back, they get Von Miller back. I'm not going to make my 2015 prediction, but let's just say that automatically, unless something crazy happens in free agency, I'm going to predict the Broncos to win the 1 seed again.
Well, it won't matter because the Broncos win. Peyton won't be here. So
it's not true. Damn it, he's denied this.
Peyton Manning said to John Fox in a non-official little recording, "Let's go get that one more." Just saying.
But anyways, that's my stuff. 28-27, Peyton Manning MVP. Markeem, I throw it over to you.
All right. I'm gonna pick the game, but I want to focus on Peyton Manning and Champ Bailey for a second. All right. Champ Bailey is his first Super Bowl, and I think without question, that is the second best cover corner to ever play the game. I don't even think it's close. I think that Deion is far ahead of him, and I think he is far ahead of everyone else. During the 90s, he was the second best second best corner in the game. It just didn't matter because of what Deion was doing. But, dog, it's cool that he is in this game. I mean, him winning a ring further cements that. Now, let me talk about Peyton Manning. Y'all know how I feel about John Elway. Y'all know I think that John Elway, and this is not what I think, this is true, John Elway played with bums from his rookie season till about 1995. And went to 3 Super Bowls in that time, led his team to the playoffs a few times, always kept the Broncos relevant, played well, won an MVP award, shit like that. Hall of Fame, greatest of all time type shit. Shit like that. If Peyton Manning wins this game with having almost every single record almost set for the yards, I think he's a little bit behind Favre in touchdowns, right? A little bit behind Favre in touchdowns.
Yeah.
And he's a full season behind Favre in yards, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
So, if he wins this game with having all those records, with being the most efficient quarterback to ever live, passing Steve Young in that category, having a Super Bowl, with 2 different franchises, it is incredibly hard to argue that he is the best to ever play. It would be you would have to kind of nitpick your way into finding, you know what I mean? I'm still gonna feel like it's Elway, and I have an argument for that. That's because I thoroughly come up with my Elway argument. If you're having a casual conversation with people, if Peyton wins this game, it's gonna be hard to the Montana thing. If Tom Brady, it's not even a conversation anymore. It's not even fun. I won't hear that anymore if Peyton wins this game. The only thing you will have is that Tom Brady has 1 more ring. That's all y'all fools will have. That is it. Simply it.
And if Peyton wins the game and wins the MVP, they'll be tied.
Have more. He'll be tied with Tom Brady in MVP.
In Super Bowl MVPs.
In Super Bowl MVPs.
Yeah.
He has more regular season MVP. I don't want to hear that no more. And I know it's going to happen. But I don't want to hear it no more. But, I'm just saying, this is a legacy game. Now picking the game. All that being said, I've been kicking this back and forth. I feel like if it snows, the Seahawks would definitely win. I mean, I feel like if it's freezing rain, snow, the Seahawks would definitely win because they would like elements always benefit the defense. It is what it is. You know what I mean? They have a better defense than the Broncos. It is what it is. But if it doesn't snow, it's anyone's game. And I'm inclined to pick the Broncos. So I'm just gonna pick the Broncos. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna hedge my bet. I'm gonna pick the Broncos. But if it snows, advantage Seahawks. I'll just say that. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna pick the. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pick the Broncos.
If the NFL has anything to do with it, they're gonna make sure it's not snowing. They're gonna.
What can they do?
Put a dome.
No. I know that sounds stupid in hindsight, but they've already talked about moving it. They've already talked they already prepared for that. So if they know it's gonna snow,
if they're gonna move it though, they have like till tomorrow to do it.
No, they'll move it last minute. They don't care.
Roger Goodell gonna go up there and fight Jesus Christ. That's what he's gonna do.
No, it's not. Phil, I get what you're saying. They may move the Super Bowl to Saturday, but remember, they're not moving it later. They're moving it earlier. All right, and think of the amount of time and manpower it takes to move a Super Bowl.
And that's gonna be hilarious when it's like 1,000 people in the stadium because they're still flying in and shit. That's gonna be hilarious.
And you're gonna have. Remember, teams would also get a less day to practice. That's why I'm saying they have to make that decision soon.
They don't practice on Saturday though.
But still, like you don't understand. Like just because they get a day off on Saturday's their day off, which means Friday's their day off now. Which means they have till Thursday to finish practicing. Which means they have 2 days of practice left if the Super Bowl gets moved. Like that's why they can't. Like at the latest, they have to. I don't think it's gonna happen though. I think if it's late enough.
I think they have to make a decision by late Thursday. I agree with that.
Fine, but Marquis, finish.
But yeah, I think that Demaryius Thomas is not even gonna be a factor in this game. Like you won't hear his name at all because they're putting Richard Sherman on him for 90% of the game. If Aqib Talib was able to totally take Demaryius Thomas out of 2 games, what the fuck you think gonna happen when the best, like he says, the best corner in the game will be covering him?
Quick stat: Peyton Manning, last time he faced a cornerback the caliber of Sherman, was Darrelle Revis in the playoffs 2 years ago, and he threw his way 0 times.
Oh wow, that's a great thing.
0.
He said, "Fuck that."
There's your stat right there.
That is a great stat.
But yeah, I firmly expect Demaryius Thomas not to do much. Here's why I think, like if nothing happens, Broncos, because you still got Decker, who is huge. There is no one-on-one. You know what I mean? No one can cover him one-on-one except for Sherman, but he's gonna be on Thomas. You know what I mean? Not Welker. I said Decker. Yeah, Decker, who's huge. And then you got Welker. You know what I mean? You got Tom Brady's former security blanket, who is always open, like he likes to tell you. And and then you got Julius Thomas. There's just so many weapons. The offensive line's playing great. I know Seattle's pass rush ain't no joke, but with that being said, man, I just think they'll be able to protect Peyton enough. Peyton gonna take some hits this game, man. But they'll be able to protect him enough. You give him 2 seconds, Peyton will find his guy. I mean, it is what it is. Pete Carroll has proven in the playoffs he is very, you know what I mean? And the Seahawks offense has been terrible. They've been terrible more than it's been good. You know what I mean? So, and he got Percy Harvin coming back, but what does that really change? He probably gonna get hurt again. Like I'll give him a half in this game. Man, then you'll see him land on the field.
That's another thing I was gonna say too. I'm glad you brought that up. If I'm the Seahawks, I don't even play that dude. Because you're going to force yourself to make plays with that guy. He's going to get hurt, and that could be a drive that you need.
Yeah, but his potential is big. Even Markeem will tell you. If the dude wasn't always hurt, like, he
could have been a very, 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 very good player.
Just tell him
he's always hurt.
Tell him to get his ring on the sidelines. They don't need it.
Damn, Phil.
I'm just saying, though, it's like, they're gonna that's a way they could lose the game essentially. Like
look. It's not like if he takes the spot of Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse, or fucking I know I'm missing someone. Help me out. The other guy. Let's do the dude's name. Golden Tate. Yeah.
Golden Tate. Yeah.
Even though I like Golden Tate, if he takes their spot and one play he gets hurt, fine. Put Golden Tate back in. But if he doesn't get hurt, and like he could be a difference maker. I get it. I get why they. Don't be surprised if. I don't think it will happen, but if he doesn't get hurt, and if the Seahawks win this game, don't be surprised if Percy Harvin has a really good performance, and that's like the story of the season.
I'm sure he gets hurt. Like, I'm almost 100% sure he gets hurt.
Wow.
Because that guy's like Danny Amendola. And by the way, real quick, well, never mind. No, we'll talk about that next week. But yeah. But as I said, Broncos.
I need a score and an MVP.
Score would be 24-20, and MVP obviously Peyton Manning.
All right, so we have.
Pick.
So Phil says 24-21 Seahawks. I say 28-27 Broncos.
With the ultimate hero pick.
This is not
pick.
The Broncos are favored. Y'all both pick the Broncos.
Hero pick, Phil. Hero pick.
That's funny. No, Phil is not getting credit for a hero pick there, but that was funny.
If this was 98 and this was like the Falcons versus the Broncos, I'd be like, you picked the Falcons. I'd be like, yeah, that's a hero pick. or this is 2001 and you picked the Patriots. Yeah, the hero pick.
2007.
Then you pick the Giants.
Yeah, pick the Giants.
Same scenario, except for the Broncos are undefeated.
Obviously, I'm very excited for this. This game means a lot to me. As those who knows me, I'm a huge Peyton Manning fan. I really, really, really badly want to see him win this, and I'll be very sad if he doesn't. But I will say this. If he doesn't win this, there are very, very, very few teams in the NFL I would rather have win the Super Bowl this year. Obviously, number one's the Dolphins. Then after the Dolphins, I'd put, the Seahawks.
No, Texans.
Texans. Okay. The Dolphins, the Texans, the Panthers, the Seahawks. I really think, in that order, legitimately.
Y'all know who I would want to win the Super Bowl. Obviously the Eagles, but then, after that,
Oh, you mean Mr. 7 interceptions? Yeah, him, that's right.
Or Mr. Break his collarbone and miss 5 games of the season. Yeah, that bum.
Yeah, that
y'all niggas done?
I just can't wait till we have an Andrew Luck, Aaron Rodgers Super Bowl and his
Marquinhos. And then I'm forced to pick one.
In your head
I'm not doing that show.
I can imagine now. Says, oh my God! But number 12. But number 12. But number 12.
No, I'm not doing that show.
But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the Super Bowl. Should be a lot of fun. We'll be back next week to talk about the game and other stuff. And hopefully, if he'll answer his goddamn phone. Oh, okay. Yeah, Ben just messaged me. His phone died. Apologies, but he swears he'll do it next week. All right. If you guys can, next week we'll talk about the Super Bowl and we'll try to get Markeem and Ben to have their conversation about college football.
And maybe even another buddy of ours. Maybe.
That'd be a good idea.
Gotta get that guy out. The next week's show is gonna be a huge one. Just be ready.
It will be good. And please, all Richard Sherman related links in the description box. One, him interviewing with Mean Gene, his interview on cold weather, his interview about his mistakes, and of course the CKParrot tweet. If the most important part, if you want to see that. But yeah, with that, we were out. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Take care.